What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another brand new Division video. Today we're going to be giving a review of the 6-piece classified Technician's Authority. This was one of the 4 gear sets that were introduced in the last global event, which is now over. This was actually the only classified gear set that I actually completed fully from the global event that just passed. And actually, fun fact for you guys, this is actually the only piece of classified gear or classified gear set in the game as of right now that I actually have a full 6-piece of. Every other piece of gear in the game that is classified, I have 5 pieces or less. So every single gear set I have 5 except for a few of them. But this is actually the first one that I have fully completed. So I wanted to test this out in some PvP and also some PvE for you guys and give you guys my honest opinion of what I think of it and how I rank it in terms of all the gear sets for patch 1.8. Hopefully I can keep this review under 10 minutes for you guys. Hopefully I can answer some of the questions that you guys might have about this specific Technician's Authority gear set if you guys maybe don't have a full 6-piece build for you guys self right now. But yeah, other than that, hopefully you guys enjoy the video. If you guys find it helpful, make sure you guys drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. I think we're like 17 or 18 subscribers off of 5,000. And like I said, if you guys have any questions about the video in general or anything that regards the specific Technician's Authority classified gear set, you guys can throw that down in the comment section below and I will attempt to answer it, since I am sort of a noob with Technician's Authority and I really have not ran this gear set upwards of patch 1.3, 1.4, so it's been quite a while since I've actually ran this specific gear set. So yeah, let's get in the review. So getting into the bonuses for this gear set, 2-piece bonus is going to grant you an additional 15% skill haste. 3-piece bonus is going to give you an extra 10% skill power. And then obviously I think most people know by now what the 4-piece bonus does. Every bullet that you land on an enemy adds 1% bonus of skill power, and obviously you can stack that to 30%. And the bonus is consumed every time you use a skill, resetting it back to 0%. 5-piece bonus gives you an extra 5% skill haste and skill power. But really what I wanted to focus on, I'll show you guys an example in just a second, but the 6-piece bonus is called Improved Technician's Authority. Using a skill while at max bonus will reset the skill power buff, but will raise the cap to 60%, so it goes from 30% to 60%, which is really good, honestly, but using a different skill at 60% has a 40% chance to set the skill power buff back to 30% while keeping the cap at 60%. This chance is increased by 20% for every 3,000 electronics. I have 9,000, so it's basically 100% every. So before I actually show you guys how this gear set works, I wanted to go a little bit more in depth of my experience with this gear set so far in PvP and PvE. So for PvE, I've just really never been a fan personally for me of using this gear set in PvE. I've just really never found a use for it, especially for how good Reclaimer is for PvE now. So for the PvP side of this gear set as of right now, I think it is a little bit on the weaker side of gear sets for skill in previous patches. Like I said before, I would recommend running the 4 or 5-piece over the 6-piece because it's just really not worth it, and how the gear set works and the bonuses that are a little bit on the lower end, like I said. But for PvP side, I use this solo mostly, and I did think it was a little bit more fun than, you know, going a little bit more try-hard with other gear sets. And what I mean by that is going solo in the Dark Zone and essentially going rogue on someone, whether or not it's a full group or one person, shooting a sticky at a person, getting them extremely low health, and then finishing them off with whatever gun I'm using. And then popping one of my heals to basically go from little to no health all the way back up to full health. And then after that, essentially, I'm getting melted because my skills are on cooldown and they haven't regenerated yet. But other than that, like I said, I do personally think that this gear set is on the lower end of the skill-wise, or should I say bonus-wise for the gear set bonuses. Also, if you guys wanted like a ranking of where I would put this gear set just in general in the game for damage wise and use wise, I would put this in like a tier 3 to tier 4 list. I would categorize this as the same as a Alpha Bridge, the classified Alpha Bridge, which was in the same global event as the Technician's Authority. And I would probably also put it down there with Sentry's Call as well for a full 6-piece classified Sentry's Call as well. Those 3 gear sets that I just talked about are probably like the least used classifieds in the game as of right now. Alpha Bridge is more of just like a fun PvE gear set. It's not supposed to be used to be able to be useful in PvP, at least from my experience in the PTS with it. But yeah, I just want to give you guys a little bit more information and my experiences with this gear set and my take and ranking and whatnot with this gear set. Alright guys, so I'm going to do my best as of right now to show you guys essentially how these bonuses on this gear set works and essentially how you're supposed to use your skills with this build. So first off, obviously you know that the 4-piece bonus is going to activate automatically, and you're going to get a max of 30 bullets with the stacking. So right now I have 0 stacks, nothing, and I will shoot 30 bullets to get to 30 stacks. Okay, so we're at 30 stacks, and at this point you can essentially use whatever skill you need to. So say your teammates are starting to get a little bit injured, they're about half health, you throw down your healing station. So you guys see that my healing station is down right now. My stacks are gone because I've used a skill, but it's technically not on cooldown yet. Now, the main thing that kind of annoys me with this is that if I want to continue stacking after this, I can't just wait for, I could wait for my healing station to actually destroy itself and then start on cooldown. But the whole point of using this build is to be able to get as much from your skills as you possibly can. So in this case, if my teammates were actually getting shot by enemies, whether or not it's just a bot or a person going rogue in the dark zone, I would probably preemptively just destroy my healing station. So obviously at this point, I'm going to go get 60 stacks with my gun. So obviously when I reach 60 stacks, you guys can see that it's going to want me to use my heal. I don't necessarily have to use my heal. You guys saw that my healing station just actually fully regenerated and I could use it again. But here's the catch to this. If I do actually indeed decide to use my healing station, I'm not going to go back down to 30 stacks with this. I'm going to go all the way back to 0 stacks, which is the reason why you see on the left hand side for my skills, it has that green box next to my heal. So obviously I don't want to go all the way back down to 0 stacks when I'm in the middle of a gunfight trying to save my teammates with my skills. So I'm going to choose to use my heal. Now since also it's a 40% chance to go back to 30 stacks, but since I have 9,000 skill power, since I have 9,000 electronics, it's 100% of the time, every single time I use a skill that has not already been on cooldown, and a different skill than I used previously. So obviously, I'm still going to be at 30 stacks every single time I use a separate skill that I had not used before. So instead, I'm going to go back up to 60 stacks, since I still have 30, and then now, you guys can see that it flip-flopped from my heal on the left to my healing station on the right, which is going to want me to use. I'll throw it on my healing station, and it puts me back down to 30 stacks. So say that I get all the way to 30 stacks. In the middle of this, I destroy my healing station. You can see, obviously, now that it's flip-flopped again, that I've used a different skill. It wants me to use my heal on the left. So let's just say that I'm not necessarily only using a healing station. Maybe I have Rolly Balls or Pulse, and instead of using my heal on the left, I'm going to use my healing station on the right because I'm really, really close to dying, or maybe someone in my group is really, really close to dying. So instead, I'm going to use my healing station. You guys just see what happened? I went not from 60 to 30 stacks, I went 60 to 0 stacks. So if I wanted to do this over again, I wouldn't have done that, and I would have rather just used my other heal and go from 30 to 60 instead of 60 to 0. And obviously if I want to restart this, I'll just go all the way back up to 30 and do it all over again, if that makes sense to you guys. I know it might have been a little bit confusing, but this is the thing that sort of annoys me, and it's sort of limiting you to use specific skills that you might not want to have to use. And in other words, it's probably the best word to explain this is probably like rotating your skills and not using a skill more than once in a row. So basically flip-flopping your skills. Use one skill, then use the other skill, then use the other skill, then use the other skill, rather than using a healing station, popping your healing station, and then 10 seconds later your healing station comes back in. You use it, you start getting a little bit injured, so then you pop your insta-heal, blah, blah, blah. But in this case, obviously you can't do that, and it really, really limits you on using what skills that you want to, rather than, you know, having to use in the order that basically it makes you use them in, rather than losing your 60 stacks compared to going back down to 30 when you're actually using them in the right order. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. This is just one of the main things that really makes it unusable for me as a gear set personally, which is the reason why I told you guys before. I would really recommend you guys to just straight up use the 4-piece gear and the 5-piece gear rather than using the 6-piece gear, because the bonuses are really just not strong enough for me personally to be able to recommend you guys to use a 6-piece bonus. But yeah, that is basically it, guys. I just want to give my honest review Like I said, once again, for the tier wise, I would throw this gear set in a tier 3 or tier 4 alongside Alpha Ridge and Sentry's Call. It's just really not that useful for me right now. I am going to stash it in my second character just in case something happens in the future, whether or not, they change some bonuses or they buff the bonuses on it. I don't really know. They can make some changes to it. But yeah, that's where we're at with it right now. But that is going to do it, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did, make sure you guys drop a like on it. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.